Hello and happy Sunday for you, Saturday for me. It could not be more of a gorgeous, gorgeous day today. And the reason that I am expressing that, not like it's always a gorgeous day here in Florida, because it's not always a gorgeous day here in Florida. In fact, this week, inside the house and outside the house, things have been a little bit of a mess. Inside the house, Ricky got a stomach virus this week, and so we struggled with fevers for 3 or 4 days, no eating, very lethargic. So it's been quite a taxing week in that sense. Finally, last night he did eat 2 pieces of pizza, and today he ate some chicken nuggets. So I think we're on the mend, and we're on our way back there. Outside, it's been a mess here in Florida, not nearly as bad as it was in the rest of the country, I do admit. We had some very just sort of misty, cold rain. It did get down into the 30s one day. So the good news is that didn't have any ill effects on my plants whatsoever. The bad news is literally hours after filming last week's garden update, I have had a little pesky critter driving me nuts. So we're going to go ahead and look at the timeline, and then we're going to come back and discuss this. It appears only hours after fixing up my garden, and no, I didn't water the plants yet, something got to my tomato. There were 2 of them hanging right by the concrete over here. I, in the meantime, tucked that one up, but my guess is it's probably was a squirrel, but we don't know. So I'm just going to bury it and see what happens. Hold on. So I'm out here watering the plants, and I noticed that the other tomato that was there is gone. You'll see some other, whatever it is, got into the peas that were up on the very top shelf in the seedling thing. I actually had something sitting on top of the onions, so they didn't get into the onions, but he definitely got into the peas. And I'm not sure who you are out there, but you're a bold one. Stay away from my stuff. It looks as though he also got my funky pepper that I left on there. Okay, so remember the tomato that I was waiting to ripen? I cleaned up the tomato plants. Still absolutely no ripening on the first. To ripen? Yeah, the critter got to it. And somehow is getting up here and taking all of my ripe tomatoes also. And looks like it, yeah, ate my broccoli that I did not cut last night, so that sucks. So that's gone too. Got into all that, got into all that, got into all that. Okay, so it is now Wednesday, and I am still in the middle of this classic whodunit. So why don't we take a look together and see. Alright, so whatever it was ate the whole head. Let's look at the chew marks. What do you guys think? Clue 1, the teeth marks. Same thing over here. No, actually I cut those yesterday, but here, this was a brand new plant. If you remember, I just showed you in the video, I think 2 days ago. Cleaned up the broccoli a little bit. I'm gonna keep letting it go so I get these little broccoli sprouts that are kind of coming off of here everywhere. I don't know how much, longer I'll, because it depends when I need the pots, is how long I'll let those go. This whole thing was full. This was a plant that was just getting started, so it's eaten all of these leaves. And oh, I went and I showed you the tomato already, so I went and cut the rest of my tomatoes off, and I will hope that they will ripen inside, but it's getting to all of these. It's even eating the green ones. I mean, you can see here how it's just eaten. So whatever it is getting to these little guys all the way up here. So that's clue 2. It has to make it up here, see? Yep. So, but clue 3 is this little guy here. That is usually a sure sign of a squirrel. So, I don't know. So what do you guys think? Who done it? A squirrel? A rat? A field mouse? Yep, ate all of those leaves. I don't know. Do you think it's the lizards? I don't think it's the lizards. Them are some really, really big bull ants. I just put ant bait all down around, so hopefully they will find another place to live other than my potato pot. What you'll see here in this clip is I got the cayenne pepper out and I spread it and made a perimeter around all of my pots and then also put it into some of my pots. And I put it up on top of the post there in case the squirrels were running across the top of there. Yeah, anything to deter whatever it is that was getting at my garden. Yeah, that was some crazy stuff, right? All right, so like I said, it's Saturday afternoon. The sun has started to move, so we're sort of in the shade over here, so I apologize if you can't see everything great, but let's go ahead and take a look at what I've done to sort of clean up the mess of the garden from this week. All right, like I showed you already, I trimmed all of the tomatoes off of the Roma plant. Hopefully it will reflower and get some more tomatoes. What I did in the meantime was I took the pepper plants that were in the starters and I went ahead and planted them in one of these broccoli pots. So that's what those are. I'm very curious to see how these work out because these were actually from a store-bought bag of sweet peppers. And I've always heard that if you try to replant stuff that came from the grocery store, that they're treated with something and that the seeds won't produce the right amount of fruit, vegetable, whatever it may be. So I'm kind of excited. The plants look really strong and they look really great. And wow, would that not be amazing if all these plants took off and gave me some sweet peppers? I would be so very happy. Okay, and here, I did show you a little bit of this, I think, on Wednesday. But this is my lettuce. And it is taking off very nicely. And again, I just watered everything, so all of that cayenne pepper that you saw has sort of been washed into the bucket. So I'm a little nervous about tonight because I need to go get more cayenne pepper and redo that because I really, really do think that it's working. Here is our vertical garden. These tomato stems look awesome and they are growing nice and strong. The celery is looking really good and also nice and strong. Now, funny enough, the critter did not come into the celery or anything. I did put some cayenne pepper on these plants, a light coat, right after all of that happened, so I don't know if that had anything to do with keeping them away. These pots that were our peppers are now the peas. I tried to save that disaster. Didn't get very many plants out of it, and I'm not sure how strong they're going to be because they were kind of broken a little bit, but we went ahead and tried that. I did leave this tomato plant here because I am sort of curious. If this is just another cherry tomato plant, I don't need another cherry tomato. I'll probably just give that away. But if for some reason that happens to be the beefsteak tomatoes that never sprouted and I dumped that dirt into that pot and maybe one of them sprouted, I don't know. In this little guy here that had the peppers also from last week, this had a couple of the onions that had just started to sprout. So I put them in here. The rest of them are still in their starter kit and hopefully that will take off. The mesclun and the kale is looking much bigger and better. Finally, I could actually cut some of these leaves and put it on a sandwich, which would be very nice. And our cabbage is still holding strong. Looking good down in there. The carrots have managed to survive somehow also, and I did do a coating of the cayenne pepper in here at the middle of the week, and then again when I did everything else. But as you can see, because I just watered everything, you can't really see that. And then, whoa, what is this? Look at that potato plant. Plants, many potato plants. Kind of curious here, I noticed this morning. This is where all the flowers were, and they are just like somebody came and just cut them and made a bouquet out of them. Now the flowers were dead, so I don't know if they just fell off naturally and that's what it looks like when the flowers fall off, or if something came and got them. But anyway, they did flower. Here's some more flowering over here. So we put more dirt in the pot, like I think I said that last week. But yeah, it just liked the dirt. Look at how big and full that is. And of course, we always have the bucket of love, which is still producing and still doing very well. Yeah. So one of the other things that happened this week, about this time actually, my husband was in the garage and he called me over, and we never saw it run out, but he swears that there was a squirrel in there, and I totally believe him because they do get in there. So I'm thinking that's my little bold squirrel. This morning I watched the squirrels, which we've always had 2 squirrels here. Ever since we moved in, we've had 2 squirrels. I know they're not the same 2 squirrels, but we always have 2 crazy squirrels chasing each other around the property. I watched them this morning for a while, and I do have to say, their bellies looked really full. So, hoping that the cayenne pepper will do the trick. Not going to do anything else to try to get rid of them or that. They've been here a lot longer than my garden, and we're going to try to all cohabitate peacefully. Do you hear that, squirrels? Stay away from my garden. Yeah. So I have promised a couple people, including my friend Scott and Jolly over at Road Trippin', that I am going to go around and talk about my bamboo that I have on the property. Was very busy this week with everything going on and had lots to show you here. So I'll probably save that again maybe for next week. I would like to walk around and show you what the bamboo looks like now in the wintertime, as opposed to I have a footage that I took before the hurricane last year, because that's always a good idea. Take pictures of the property before the hurricane, just in case there was any damage, and I might try to do a side-by-side and compare some of that. So look forward to that in the future. In the meantime, if this is your first time visiting me, I am not usually this crazy. Usually it's a very peaceful vlog, and we have a great time here in the garden. So we did have a rough week to get over. I hope we've gotten past it, and I hope next week is much better. So please make sure to go ahead and hit subscribe down below, and we'll see you next week.